The Asia tours just keep coming. Austin Reaves is one of the NBA players who recently visited Asia, and to top it all off, he has a new signature shoe, the RIGORER AR3. Now, if there's one thing about this shoe that sets it apart so far from the others, it is its consistency in terms of design language. If you're into the theory behind sneaker designs, you probably know what I mean. You see, I've closely followed sneaker stories for more than a decade, and through those years, it's always been interesting to hear that a signature athlete will have a new signature shoe. In some cases, the newer model shares a similar design language to the previous version, while others reboot this series altogether. But some habits are hard to break, and this is true for the RIGORER AR3 in a good way. That's because the signature line is able to establish its unique identity. It's called product differentiation. It's a selling point meant to make a product stand out from the rest. In this case, RIGORER continues to use the cocoon design language together with the metamorphosis concept to market Austin's shoes. So let's have a quick conversation. Now, Austin Reaves' signature line with RIGORER follows a single design inspiration. It's not simply about the cocoon concept. More importantly, it's the very idea of transformation from a cocoon to a butterfly. Science calls it metamorphosis, but for sneakerheads and designers, it may be called something else: design language. Design language is basically a comprehensive system of visual and interactive elements that define the look, feel, and behavior of a product. The AR1 set that design language in motion. When the shoe was launched, RIGORER released it in a so-called ice cream colorway. Sold at $100, Austin Reaves' first signature shoe used a woven upper that was inspired by the visuals of a cocoon. Complementing this was the brand's Showtime foam midsole and a tongue that had foam pellets. The AR2 pretty much took the cocoon concept to the next level. Launched on December 2024, the shoe continued to echo the theme of transformation, mainly through the zigzag pattern on the upper inspired by the swallowtail butterfly. The pattern can also be seen on the plastic frame wedged between the midsole and outsole, as well as the carved out sections of the outsole. And then comes the RIGORER AR3. Austin Reaves' third signature shoe stays true to the established design language. The same theme can be found on the upper yet again, but this time through different implementations. On the lateral, you have a synthetic leather panel that mimics the butterfly wing pattern, while the medial has the same visuals except that it is directly implemented on the fabric instead. There's also a plastic piece sitting between the upper and the midsole. This piece has 4 jagged edges at the toe section, which seem to be an extension of the butterfly wing pattern found on the upper. The external heel counter also seems to be aligned with the jagged edges motif and the butterfly wing extension. The RIGORER AR3 practically still has a similar design language as the first two shoes. I think fans of the first two models have not much to complain about in terms of design. If you like the cocoon to butterfly concept in the AR1 and 2, it's still here in the AR3, which you'd still probably appreciate. But for those looking for anything different at all, you're probably wondering if there's anything new that the RIGORER AR3 has to offer. There are some, so let me tell you about them. One thing that kind of separates the AR3 from the first two models is the outsole. In the first model, the outsole consisted of radiating lines. According to the brand, these patterns are zoned according to the force-bearing positions to enhance grip and adapt to different courts. Meanwhile, the second model uses modified herringbone lined up in a radiating curve. But the AR3 is kind of different. The traction pattern has defaulted to an aggressive herringbone type, segmented only by linear grooves running from front to back, tapering as they reach the toe section. Apart from the traction pattern, the outsole itself consists of two separate sections, which is a departure from the first two models that had a single rubber piece. Now, perhaps the more significant deviation is the lateral synthetic piece. It's not only decorative as it's also functional. For one, it is stitched to the upper, adding lateral support for sharp cuts and side-to-side movements. For another, the top section acts as dual lace loops instead of the typical punched eyelets that we've seen in the first two models. With the variations and similarities, some of you are probably wondering if the Rigor AR3 is even worth getting. Honestly, I think it's worth a try. I think it's especially true if you're still on the fence on trying a Chinese footwear brand for basketball. There's more upside than any downside. The shoe looks performance driven and will not hurt your budget if previous prices are any indication. The AR1 retailed for $90 while the AR2 retailed for $100. It's not a bad price range. And if you're a fan of consistency in design language without being overdone, the Rigor AR3 has that. All the more if you're a fan of butterfly-inspired designs, not to mention Austin Reaves himself. Otherwise, if you just want something that's entirely new year after year, you will probably get disappointed. But let me know what you think. Hey man, thanks for watching. You can support me by joining my channel membership. Thanks and hope to see you on the next one.